Let's take a look at the latest national numbers. The CBS News New York Times poll reveals a very close race heading into the campaign's final weekend. Clinton, 45%. Donald Trump, 42%. Third-party candidates Gary Johnson and Jill Stein are in single digits. Clinton was in battleground North Carolina yesterday with former rival Senator Bernie Sanders and singer Pharrell Williams, and Clinton launched this attack on Trump.
If he doesn't respect all Americans, how can we trust him to serve all Americans? Do we want this man appointing judges? Do we want him controlling the Justice Department? Well, people who are voting for him, that's what they would get.
Where's Huma? Clinton's longtime aide, Huma Abedin, has been off the campaign trail for a week since her emails on her estranged husband's laptop reignited the FBI probe of Clinton. Well, Abedin headlined a fundraiser last night in Washington after we're told she's been working out of the campaign's Brooklyn headquarters. And finally, Michigan. Former President Bill Clinton has spent part of 2 days in Michigan this week. Hillary Clinton is heading there today, even though it's been a reliably blue Democrat state in recent elections. Perhaps a sign that Michigan is a little too close for comfort. So Hillary Clinton will play on defense here in Pennsylvania and Michigan today. Gotcha. Ainsley, Steve, Brian.
All right along the river down there in Pittsburgh. Mike, thank you very much.
But, you know, one thing to point out, she's not collapsing. Trump seems to be going up. It's a situation where she's holding and Trump is coming up. And I also think there might be, at the last minute, maybe a Hillary Clinton deal made with the Libertarian candidate, or Jill Stein, to try to get that 1 or 2%. Gary Johnson.
She is not.
Because Bill Weld loves Hillary.
What was the adjective you used? She's a stalemate or whatever. She's not. Remember, she was like 12 points ahead, and now she's doing this and he's doing that.
Right now, the Real Clear Politics average is she is ahead by 1.5. 2 weeks ago, she was ahead by 7. And one other thing, apparently we're having trouble with the channel on the direct TV channel.
Again?
Apparently so. I got an email from somebody who says there's a conspiracy. Once again, 3 days in a row, unable to get Fox News. Anyway, it's a technical thing. We're working on it.
Yeah, go to your roof and adjust your dish.
Hillary is not facing charges for her email scandal, right? But up next, a Navy SEAL who took a picture of his training manual got locked up. His story will have you seeing red.
Wow. Now's this for a tweet. I'd rather see Donald Trump's life end. That's from a journalist.
Yeah.
What?
So what happened to him? Well, he tweeted back and said he was only, well, I can't give it away. It's a tease.
This one. Politics at the pump, at the gas pump. Shell is pulling its branding from one particular gas station after it refused to take down pro-Trump signs. The Tennessee gas station receiving some backlash from customers and from residents. But the family who owns that gas station says their messages are protected by the First Amendment, and now they are suing Shell. And this election might be too much for heart patients to handle. That is why a Long Island, New York hospital is banning political debates in the gym in their heart center. A manager posting a sign about the ban after seeing patients with weak hearts getting upset. Brian?
All right, thanks, Ainsley. Just days before FBI Director James Comey reopened the investigation into Hillary Clinton's private server, a group of lawyers held a private forum critiquing Comey's handling of the investigation. One of those attorneys shared the story of a Navy SEAL who almost lost his military career entirely and security clearance for having a photo of his text on his cell phone of one page of the training manual. So after all we've learned, why wasn't the former Secretary of State held to the same standard for doing what seems to be a lot worse? Here to react is the federal security clearance attorney and who represented that SEAL, Sean Bigley. Sean, you first off, tell me about the Navy SEAL and what he did wrong.
Morning, Brian. Well, this gentleman was someone we had the privilege of representing about a year ago, and he was a dedicated sailor, risked his life repeatedly for the United States, but he had one momentary lapse of judgment in which he decided to take a cell phone photograph of a single page in a classified training manual for the purpose of being able to study that later. And when his commanders found out about it, he was immediately out-processed from the Navy. They moved to revoke his security clearance, and he spent a year fighting that decision that we were ultimately able to get overturned.
So now he's back in action, but man, what a year it was. It's a bad decision, but my goodness, how many times you take a picture in order to study it in different locations? It seems to be a resourceful move, but it jeopardized security technically. Having said that, now fast forward to Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, private server, didn't tell anybody, set it up, 33,000 deleted, all the facts that we've been going over. How do they compare?
Well, I mean, frankly, the way in which the Hillary case, has played out has been a tremendous contrast from what we've seen and what we do see on a day-to-day basis in defending our clients. Brian, I have to tell you, we represent over 200 people around the world every year, American soldiers, spies, diplomats, good, honest people who have lost their security clearance and their career for doing things that are far less. And so when I heard about this decision initially, I was shocked.
So the whole thing we heard from James Comey, the FBI, in July was, well, it's about intent. She set it up for convenience. It's about intent. She didn't intend to deceive. She didn't like the State Department system, State.gov system. So does intent matter?
Well, that's the irony here. Is the short answer is no. If you look at the classified information statutes, really all that is required is negligence. And so it begs the question, what was her purpose in setting this up? That's something that I don't think has ever adequately been answered by the Clinton camp. Either she set it up for the purpose of her own convenience, which means she placed her own convenience over national security, or she did it for the purpose of hiding her actions from public oversight, from congressional scrutiny, in which case she placed her own politics over national security. I don't know which one is worse for her judgment.
Sean, in your business, it's all about precedent. The next time you get a client that takes a picture on a nuclear submarine to send home, or that takes a picture of a manual just so they can study it, and they end up in a lot of trouble, will you go back and talk about the Secretary of State in order to better serve your client?
Absolutely. And this is something that I've raised previously in my writing, the horrible precedent that has been set by this case. Most of these cases are done behind closed doors. There really isn't a public precedent out there that we can use to leverage in these cases. This is the first. This is the first where we have somebody that high up the food chain who has consciously and willfully disregarded their security obligations. And so really, these cases are all about character. They're predictive determinations about somebody's honesty, their integrity, their judgment. And so to make those determinations, the government looks at the track record. And in this case, you have a horrible track record. But if she's elected in just a few days, she's going to be coming in with that, along with all of her people, who will then be ostensibly running the very agencies that are denying everyone else security clearances.
And every lawyer is going to say, what about her? Instead of I'm with her, what about her? What about my guy? What about my woman, my ensign, my sergeant, my captain, who took a picture on a nuclear submarine to send home, and next thing you know, they're in jail for a year, and your Navy SEAL who almost lost his career. So this is a brand new set of precedents, whether you vote for Hillary Clinton or not. Sean Bigley, thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, coming up straight ahead. Veterans died at the hands of Veterans Affairs. You know that. But apparently one TV network thinks it's funny. Details about the unbelievable new sitcom next. And Capone. Gotti? Clinton? Judge Pirro says the Clinton Foundation is like the mob, so why can't the Clintons be prosecuted? Judge Jeanine's here. She's walking with Steve. I wonder what they're saying.
This summer, Bill Clinton still had a locker at Donald Trump's Westchester Golf Club. Even stranger, it was in the women's locker room. But it's still there. Oops! Did I come in here by mistake again? My bad.
Love the music, too.
Hey, look who's here. Judge Jeanine Pirro. She's going to be busy this weekend talking about what's going on. Good morning to you.
She might not. You might try to just do like zig when everyone's zagged, not talk about the election at all.
What do you want me to talk about? You're co-hosting with me, aren't you?
Yes.
And see that on Tuesday.
I'm negotiating right now to see how it plays. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, no, we're going to talk about what is going on. I mean, it's the last show before the election, and it's certainly with the Clinton Foundation, and we've been talking about this for a while. But now that we have WikiLeaks, there's like dovetailing. You've got the intent. Not that you need intent, Jim Comey. You were wrong about that, and I am a judge. It's clear what their intent was. Their intent was to hide, to set up the server so that she could operate not only outside of the guidelines and the rules and the federal requirements, but that she could operate an organized criminal enterprise in the name of a 501c3 charity.
You say that from what you've seen from WikiLeaks, it's a clear case, and you say, you told our producer, she has got to go to jail.
Yeah. This is a case of a RICO. It's a racketeer influence corruption organization.
Like the mob?
Like the mob, yeah. She's the capo, and and then they've got the consigliere, who's Loretta Lynch at this point, who, and I agree, I was talking to Rudy Giuliani, has corrupted the Justice Department. How does the FBI do an investigation without access to a grand jury? An investigation this serious, this weighty, that impacts all of us, where millions and tens and hundreds of millions of dollars are being exchanged with other countries, while she's in a position of power. I mean, this is just the most corrupted Department of Justice I've ever seen. And I thought Eric Holder was bad.
Yeah, right. Is this why she hasn't done any interviews since the middle of September? I mean, she's running for president, hasn't done any sit-down one-on-ones since I think it was September 14th. Is it because she's trying to hide stuff and doesn't want to face these questions?
It's because at this point, anything she says can and will be used against her in a court of law. And so she is now listening not just to her political advisors, because she doesn't know the truth. I mean, she can't remember the truth. She's a pathological liar. But also her legal advisors, which is anything you say may be used against you going forward.
So one of the most fascinating things to emerge from the Wall Street Journal article and then confirmed today in the New York Post is they were going after a suspect, and they were recording these conversations. And that is when the FBI was. And that's when this whole thing, the circle was closed. They saw the pay for play with the Clinton Foundation. That's when the New York field office said, we have to pursue this. They began to pursue it. And the Justice Department said, not impressed, just hearsay. Is that even the right term to use when you're tailing a suspect for some type of criminal behavior?
Department of Justice has been corrupted. All right, it's not hearsay. What it is you've got someone who is giving information on another case, unrelated case that is being recorded. That is how, as a prosecutor in law enforcement, I did this for 30 years. If I find out from another case information on a case that I could use on another case, of course you're going to use it. It doesn't mean that it's hearsay or it's not usable. I'm going to use that information and tie it into what I've already got.
The new news today, and this was broken by CBS, is that apparently, and this is the reason why James Comey came out last Friday.
Right.
Apparently, they have found email on the Weiner laptop that were not duplicates. They were things from Hillary Clinton's Department of State business. They were work email that were never turned over.
Gee, what a shock. She handed over all of her work-related emails, didn't she? The ones that she gave to her attorneys who did not have clearance to have classified information, who decided themselves instead of, the State Department that they should be eliminated. She bleach-bitted, they hammered the BlackBerries, and now, lo and behold, ain't that karma, guys?
They finally found it.
There it is on the pervert, alleged pedophile's laptop.
A personal story.
Yes.
My mom every weekend says, did you see Judge Pirro this weekend? Every day. This is how our small talk, right? And I figured out why she likes you.
Why?
Because you belong in my kitchen in Christmas and Thanksgiving. We have my mom and her sisters has the same tone as you. You're not yelling, but you are yelling. It's passion. It's passion.
Am I yelling? Joel, where are you, Joel?
For the uneducated, you don't know. You're just passionate about your topics. In the beginning, I thought you were yelling. But
no, I'm not yelling. And you know, here's the thing. I think the American people are fed up, and we are all frustrated with what is going on in this country. We have worked too hard to get to where we are, to put someone in office who is laughing at us, who lies to us, who is corrupted, and who has made hundreds of millions of dollars. And by the way, I think the story that's not getting any attention is the IRS looking at how they have used the Clinton Foundation, and they've done this investigation for 4 months that inures to their personal benefit. So when they do things personally, they've got to be taxed on it.
Judge, will you do me a favor? Will you scream at the top of your lungs to Heather Nauert? Because she's got some headlines for you.
No, I can't do it. Heather, it's too early, but I love it. Can you give us the news?
You don't scream. It's a New York Italian thing.
I love it.
I
know.
Italian.
Whatever.
She's fantastic. I love your energy.
Right.
Her mom watches too, so we need to get the two moms together.
We certainly do. All right, good morning to all of you. Hope you're off to a good day. I've got a couple of headlines I want to bring you right now. Could Paul Ryan's days as House Speaker be numbered? 4 House Republicans anonymously telling the website The Hill that they expect Ryan to step down after Tuesday's election. Rumors now swirling because he faces what some would say is a bit of an uphill battle. He talked to the Freedom Caucus to win a full 2-year term leading the House Republicans. A spokeswoman for Ryan denies that report. We'll keep covering that and bring you the latest. An LA Times reporter putting himself at the center of a major Donald Trump controversy, and now the newspaper is telling him you're fired. It started with a tweet from Time magazine saying, see Donald Trump's life and photos, with a link to images photographers have taken over the years. Well, that reporter replying to the tweet, writing, quote, I would rather see Donald Trump's life end. Well, he quickly deleted it, saying it was a joke, but many people did not find that funny. Hillary Clinton may be in for the November surprise of a lifetime, according to Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks founder, telling Kremlin media that the hack has nothing to do with Russia. And he's promising even more bombshells, he says, like this.
ISIS, is funded by Saudi Arabia and Qatar.
Money from the very people who are giving money to the Clinton Foundation.
Yes.
Wow. Well, that full interview will air this Saturday. And this story will leave you with a bad taste. ABC apparently thinks our heroes are not getting the care they deserve, they need, or deserve. They think it's funny. The network producing a sitcom that takes place at a VA hospital. The storyline, a C-plus team of employees, underfunded, understaffed, have stopped overworking themselves. That's until a hotshot new female chief of surgery steps in to turn them into an A-team. And those are your headlines.